Coffee. How do you make a perfect cup of coffee? Well, that's up to you. But this is how I make one. And in this episode of the Manitoba Man, we're going to discuss how to make a good cup of coffee. We're here in Manitoba. Most mornings are cold all winter and hot all summers, and either way we start off with a cup of coffee. And you can make it however you want. I make mine several different ways. But let's get into the meat and potatoes of making a cup of coffee. First of all, it starts by getting some beans. So I have these French roast beans from Costco, and you can see how dark they are. And I use them most mornings. But sometimes I use these from Guatemala. See how much lighter they are? See how dark? Can you see the comparison there? These are the Guatemalan coffee beans. So Guatemalan coffee, similar to some coffees in Mexico, they're lighter, not as dark, but keep in mind that if it's lighter, it has more caffeine in it. So my daughter was in Guatemala and she got this from Cafe Aurora, Rainforest Specialty. So it's a hand-picked coffee from Guatemala. Get my glasses to read these. Okay, it just says here it's from Guatemala, it's from the rainforest. It comes from 1,450 meters and it's Aurora State. So you can have that. And then this here shows you how to do it. We can talk about that later. So typically it says if you want to use a French press, you grind it coarser. If you want to use a cone filter, you grind it finer. Espresso is even finer. So let's look at that. I have this Espresso coffee grinder from Costco. It works pretty good. I have a review on it. But here you can see it's extra fine here, fine, medium, coarse. So I have it on the second notch of medium for when I use my regular coffee grinder. When I make an espresso, I shoot it down here to the first one of fine. And if I could use my French press coffee, I shoot it up here to coarse. So let's grind a little bit. So for 450 grams of water, which is this thing full, I set it down to 2 and I hit grind. So I use this much water, 450 grams. Typically, then I can take it to go, or it's a cup and a half. And here you can see that it's, you have to watch the static on the grinder. Just give it a minute to all go away. And if I use this, I use 16 grams of coffee in my coffee maker. And you can smell it, it's just different. So it's however you want. So like I say, making a perfect cup of coffee, that's subjective. I'm just telling you how I do it. For my French press coffee, this, of course I grind it a little coarser, so otherwise it gets through the screen. I add it, grind it coarser like I told you, second from the end. And set this for 3 cups. Then I grind it. And I add 3 cups of water, which is basically this thing. Let it cook for a couple minutes. Use a wooden spoon to stir it. Well, there's more technical ways, but we could get into that later. So, in this episode of Manitoba Man, we're talking about coffee. And you can do it however you want. You use the beans how you want. This is just how I do it. So, let's grind. So now you can see that the static's all gone from here. Let's throw her in. So that's the key with the bird grinder. It gets a little static. Just give it a second. And of course, You don't want to do it too far ahead when you do it because then all the flavors escape. Sometimes you do it the night before, I know, but it's better to do it in the morning when you need it. Okay, so let's just slip over here a little bit. Throw her in. 1 to 4, cook. So while that's cooking, we can talk about this. I have this Cuisinart cappuccino espresso maker. It's good too. And it has the milk frother right on it. It uses the screens. It just makes a stronger cup of coffee. And if you just want a little espresso, you just put in these little cups. It's a nice treat in the morning. You can make a cappuccino with it. It's a good machine too. So here we can either make a French press coffee, we can make a cappuccino, we can make an espresso, or just a regular coffee. Sometimes I just set it to make an espresso and then I just fill up this cup. So it's just a little bit more, it's not quite as strong, but it's actually pretty good too. Alright, let's let that cook and we'll come back. Okay, you can hear that's just finishing up. Takes about 6 minutes to punch through, so it's not very fast, but lots of things aren't. It's okay to wait. You know, you want fast food, you go to fast food. You want coffee, go to quick coffee, go to Tim Hortons or something. But if you want to be a little bit involved with your process of your making your own and spend a little time and get a better cup of coffee, takes a few minutes. Oh, maybe I didn't touch base about cleaning your coffee maker grinder. You have to clean your coffee grinder every once in a while because these dark Arabica beans are oily, so you have to clean it, and if it runs empty, you just give it a little shake and then it takes the beans a little better. Those Guatemalan beans, the Mexican beans, are drier, so they run through a little bit better. Okay, here, let's have a look. I drink mine black, but everybody has their own preference. Let's bring this up close. There. Now that's a good looking cup of coffee. Yeah, that's good. So no matter how you drink it, you just have to experiment with how you like it. You can set your grinder at different spots. You can add more water. You can use different beans. Just give it a try. There, thanks for watching this edition of the Manitoba Man. Here at the Manitoba Man, we're going to be covering topics to make us more interesting, to make us a more rounded person, to improve our interactions with others. But I thought I'd start the series off with making coffee because I know how important that is to us Manitobans. Okay, see you next time.